Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So 2 nights ago, President Biden was talking about the State of the Union, so I thought I should talk about the state of my own personal life a little bit. And since last year, my main theme has been moving out here to Phoenix, where I was hoping to get a little bit more acceptance than I did back home in Seattle. It's a mixed bag, I'll get to it. And also, in my diversification away from investing in precious metals and accumulating some strategic metals, something that the United States federal government definitely has not done, right? In fact, I don't believe they have any precious metals either. That's another story for another time. We're going to get clobbered for not having these metals in an industrial society. Now, I first set foot on Phoenix this time around on September 16th of 2022, and my first impressions arriving here of the good weather and the good vibes were great, but I underestimated how difficult it would be to network with people when you're solosexual. So for example, next week on Valentine's Day, I'll probably go out just like any other Valentine's Day, but I wish people would recognize that I could be just as fun to be out with, even without a partner, right? I want to see more double dates and multiple dates where not everybody has a partner, right? Or some people who are solosexual, right? Unfortunately, it's not just me. I actually know another person who is much higher profile than me, who is solosexual, and she lives in a much more progressive country, and she also has the same problem. People don't think about inviting her along for multiple dates. And so I don't understand why. Why does everybody need to have a partner? And so it's just hard to network with the right people. I had a subscriber tell me that I should try to look for gigs to work on. I do tutoring, and to look for gigs where I could just meet with the student one-on-one. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to network because people don't want to associate with me, right? So today's Thursday. Tomorrow you're going to see a lot of couples go out on multiple dates. They're not going to include me, and which is unfortunate. I would love to join in on such a thing and introduce myself, and maybe one of their best friends or a family member needs to find a tutor, right? At the tutoring center where I work today, we interviewed a new potential employee. I think she's going to join us. And after work, I had a brief discussion with her. She used to do private tutoring as well. And she told me much the same thing, that we were talking about the pros and cons. And she had mentioned, I told her that the hardest part of working at the center is probably going to be all the paperwork, right? Because both you and I both know that we teach from the heart. So when I come here, a typical day, it's very heavy on paperwork. I hardly even think about the tutoring half the time. It's the paperwork that I have to give deliberate action to. And she said, oh yeah, when I did privately, there was no paperwork. I said, I bet the hardest part was communicating with the parents, and she agreed with me on that. And it didn't take me long to figure out she was single, even though she was probably in her, I want to say, early to mid-40s. And it didn't take me long to figure out she was never married. It really takes one to know one. And we had been talking about the recent, because she did mention that Phoenix is not so friendly toward people who are, she has a friend who is lesbian. I said, well, you must love Joe Biden recently signing that executive order about gay marriage. And she said, yeah, that's a very good thing, a wonderful thing, because to prevent something like the Roe versus Wade issue. And I said, well, there was one thing I didn't like about that. Joe Biden said interracial and gay couples. And she misunderstood me. She thought I was in a multiple person, three or foursome relationship. And I told her, no, think the other extreme. But she still didn't understand it. And so I explained to her my situation, and she explained to me, oh yeah, it's very insulting. We got tax tax filing season coming up. It's going to be another kick in the gut. I said, well, taxes aren't even the worst part of it. It's the fact that you can't even join in on activities that are almost reserved for people who are in. She explained that, yeah, that's a big problem too. So this Valentine's Day, I'm going to be speaking out for that. But I'm very pleased that I accumulated nearly 2 tons of this stuff now, and I hope to end the year with 6 tons. That was my goal, and I hope to have enough bismuth that I don't have to worry about the outside world. I could just make bismuth art, sell it, accumulate more bismuth, and if people don't accept me, continue to go out by myself every Valentine's Day, and whatever happens at work, it happens. I swallow it because my main focus is going to be on the bismuth, and I'm really excited that it has kind of played out this way. Anyways, I continue to speak out for myself, but I hope to be free of issues running from prejudice, or allow people to be prejudiced. Now, a month ago, I was in another apartment, and I had a roommate who was wacky as well. And one night, he had already woken up, and I decided to shout, "Peter Shit Show!" into my video, and he comes pounding on my door. What the fuck? What the fuck? And I allowed him to relieve himself doing that, and he got kicked out of the apartment. That's what I need to do about prejudice at my workplace. I sometimes I don't have the luxury of completely ignoring it because I need the hours at work or the scheduling or whatnot, and that's why this stuff is gonna be my backup plan, and then I can speak up for and have power to speak up for myself. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.